right, here with us now for the Political Roundtable, Washington sports writer for The Nation, Dave Zirin, who's the author of A People's History of Sports, and still with us on the set, the editor-in-chief of The New Yorker, David Remnick. And the latest issue of The New Yorker, by the way, features Portraits of Power, a close-up look of world leaders. We're going to get to that in just a minute because there's some great stories there as well. But Dave, I think we should get him to chime in on Tiger, no?
Go, Dave. What do you think?
Tiger Woods.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, there's a reason why we put down our turkey legs and the gravy spilled out of our nose when we heard this story. And it's not because Tiger is the most famous athlete in the world. It's not because he's the first billion-dollar athlete. It's because in the 14 years Tiger Woods has been in the public eye, he has not so much as been caught spitting on the sidewalk. This is a man bites dog kind of a story. And I got to tell you, it caps off in the charmed life of Tiger Woods what has been an incredibly trying year for the man.
So Willie's been talking.
How's it been trying for Tiger Woods?
Well, my goodness. I mean, it started really in 2008. He wins the U.S. Open, but he does it by tearing his knee in 57 different places. Turns his knee into confetti, beating Rocco Mediate. I got to pronounce that correctly, or my relatives will get me. But the other thing about Tiger Woods is that in 2009, he throws his club into the crowd at the Australian Open. He's criticized for cussing on the course, and as recently as just a week and a half ago, he's at the Stanford football game. He's being inducted into the Stanford Hall of Fame, and 60,000 people boo him at halftime. Wow. It's actually a remarkable video.
You know, the thing is, I mean, again, I think the standards are too high. The guy plays golf. You're swearing. You're mad at this guy because he's swearing on a golf course. I swear in church. Yeah. I mean, come on, seriously. What do we expect from our sports stars? He plays. He has a stick. And he hits a little ball.
And we're expecting him to be
Jesus. You know, Dave, it's interesting. Said he had a trying year. No, the trying year of the guy in Allentown that's out of a job. This guy did not have a trying year. So that's why there's no empathy when guys like this fall off the wagon.
David, why did he get booed?
Cal fans.
Oh. Well, part of it is that it was also against Berkeley, and there were a ton of Cal fans there. But part of it is that Tiger is respected, Tiger is worshipped, but he's hardly loved. He is not a cuddly Tiger in the grand scheme of things. But I'll tell you this, why it matters and why we should care. Of course, the person who's out of work in Allentown, we should have much more sympathy and do much more about that. But look at the Dubai story and look at Tiger Woods and how these things kind of connect and how to understand them. Tiger Woods, a couple years ago, huge partnership with Dubai. Tiger Woods is the first billion-dollar athlete. He's made over $1 billion in appearances, and Dubai has an abhorrent human rights record. This is the part of the Tiger Woods story that also needs to be discussed. I mean, with incredible power comes incredible responsibility. Tiger has incredible cultural capital, and he has done it by having this Spartan aesthetic and this Spartan image as the person who never loses control. And this latest incident, it kind of blows that up. And he's skated in the media around all sorts of dubious connections with all sorts of governments throughout the world.
David, with due respect, I think, let's say there is a marital situation here, and God knows we're not. But if there is, marriages are a lot different than somebody having a bad human rights record.
Right.
No, that's the whole point. I mean, this is the Us Weeklyification of sports. I mean, we're putting scrutiny on Tiger Woods. For the first time in his athletic life, there's this tremendous scrutiny on who he is. I mean, I was asked yesterday on another news show, who is the real Tiger Woods?
Well, if we stick just with Tiger Woods, it is amazing how he's controlled his public image. Just forget this one story for a second. He has deals with magazines where he sells his time by the minute. Like there's a little kitchen timer. Yes. You know, he is, I've never seen anything like it.
That's why it backfires so strong when you are that type of controller.
Even Derek Jeter, who by baseball standards has a very controlled public image and doesn't have a whole hell of a lot to say off the ball field, you still have a little press scrum around him 162 times a year.
David, let's talk about the New Yorker.
Portfolio of power players.
Portfolio of power players. Who do you have?
We have, well, just a little background. We have a photographer, a staff photographer named Platon, who's a Greek Brit. And he goes around in an orange leather jacket, and he's an incredibly charismatic guy. And he decided to set up a little studio outside the General Assembly during the September festivities. And every world leader, save 4 or 5, stepped into this little studio he made, and they're extraordinary.
Oh my God!
It's because he has one name. That's why.
There's Gaddafi, obviously, and all of them seemed very eager to show themselves. That's Jacob Zuma of South Africa.
And among the group, you have Cristina Fernandez and Silvio Berlusconi.
Yes, and we put them right next to each other, and I'm afraid it produced a kind of unfortunate comic effect, which is Berlusconi looks like a leering, as we all know and love him, a kind of leering fellow on the corner, and Cristina Fernandez is someone he might leer at, I'm afraid, since he's packed his cabinet with former girlfriends.
How in the world did you guys get all of these leaders, and let's keep showing the photos, but
I think purely, well, we wrote lots of letters, but it's, journalism is about showing up and showing up and showing up. It's not romantic. And Platon and his very small crew and the people that wrote letters ahead of them just showed up right off to the side of the General Assembly, and they all walked in.
We have the handsomest world leader, by the way. If you kind of look, it's not a particularly attractive group. Obama's a handsome man, but the rest, it kind of falls off. So I think we have the best-looking world leader.
Yes. All right.
That's not a handsome man.
Yeah, okay.
No, at this point, I think there's, as we say in Hollywood, a little work going on with Gaddafi.
It's scary.
Yeah.
Would you say we have the best-looking world leader, Joe?
I really don't rate leaders.
No, I'm just saying, just
a pretty good-looking guy right there. Look at that shot.
That's Hugo shot.
Right.
I know, great shot.
Fascinating. Look inside your magazine. We appreciate it. And Dave Zirin, thank you very much for that. Was a different take on the Tiger story.
David, we want to get you on a radio show. I'm sure everybody at WABC, KBC, MAL, all these stations will love the image of gravy coming out of our noses. Thanks, Eddie. Thank you for that.
Stand by for that.
It'll stay with us for some time. David, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
For being with us. We really do appreciate it.